This is Muscle Central and I'm Michael Diamond. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, and leave a comment. Okay, once again, Behrooz Tabani has qualified for the Mr. Olympia. This will be 3 years in a row. The previous 2 years, he could not get into the country, visa issues, and he could not compete in the Olympia. We don't know what's going to happen, whether it's going to be 3 years in a row he earns the qualification and is unable to compete. It's not just the Olympia with Tabani. There's been a few other shows along the way in other countries. He's from Iran, for those of you who don't know. There's been a few other shows in other countries that he wanted to compete in and he couldn't get in because of visa issues. Something needs to be done to help these athletes with the visas getting into the countries so they can compete, especially if you qualify for the Olympia, the biggest show in bodybuilding, and you can't get into the country to compete. You know, in all these other sports that compete all around the world, compete in other countries are competing against each other. There are legal teams that are employed that handle all these things, so these athletes are able to go from country to country in these world competitions. We need something in place. We need a mechanism in place to help the bodybuilders with the same issue. They're not terrorists. They're not trying to stay in this country. They want to come here to ply their trade. Some legal firm needs to be hired to handle these things for the IFBB, for the bodybuilders. A firm that either specializes in these things or has a department that handles specifically these types of things, but they need some mechanism in place to help these athletes. A start also would be Arnold Schwarzenegger. You should have to sit down with Arnold. Hey, you were the governor of California. You have to know some people that you can talk to help provide some assistance with the situation, make the process a little easier. But it's going to take money also, because you need to have a legal team to fall back on to handle all the little things involved with the passport, visa, and all those things. Where are we going to get the money from? Well, every year to renew your pro card, it's costing these IFBB athletes $300. I don't know how many IFBB pros there are worldwide, but there are a lot of divisions. There are a lot of competitors. You add it up, do the math, multiply those active competitors by 300, you're going to have some pretty big numbers. Some money can be taken from what the IFBB gets from the competitors every year to renew their pro card. Promoters that have Olympia qualifying shows they got to pay sanction fees to the IFBB to run the show. Some money can come from the promoters for these Olympia qualifying shows. And the Olympia brand itself, after all, they should want the best of the best. Here you have somebody that's obviously, we can't call him the best of the best because he's qualified 3 years in a row. It wasn't a fluke, like he qualified 1 year, then he didn't qualify a following year, then a following. No, he qualified 3 years in a row. Wasn't a fluke. He is a top bodybuilder on the circuit, but he's unable to compete, and there are plenty more like him. There's a way to get this done. Like I said, it's going to take some effort. You need a legal team working with you to help this process. But once again, Arnold, make some phone calls. You love bodybuilding so much. Talk to some people you know. Find out how we can get this process going a little smoother. And the IFBB, the promoters for the Olympia qualifying shows and the Olympia, they all need to work together, and between them, they definitely can raise the money needed to cover the expenses. Like I said before, I don't know how many active IFBB pros there are, but I wouldn't be surprised that there are enough active pros paying that $300 every single year for the money to come completely out of that. I don't know, but one way or another, we got to figure out how to fix this problem. At the end of the day, I just hope that Behrooz Tabani manages to get into the country this year to compete in the Olympia. And, you might mention Hadi Choopan. Well, Hadi Choopan has been able to get into the country over the last few years, and last year seemed to be a much easier process. In the case of Hadi Choopan, I can't tell you with complete certainty, because I haven't heard it specifically come out of anybody's mouth. But my guess with Hadi, the reason why this year he was able to get in, well, not this year, it's actually last year, much easier than previously, simply is that he is an employee of Evogen Nutrition. He's an Evogen sponsored athlete. Evogen is a US-based company, and I think that in Hadi's situation, it's some sort of work visa. And that's why he's been able to get in, whereas someone like Behrooz, who they're both from the same country, can. We need to figure out how to get these bodybuilders into the countries where they want to compete, just like in these other world sports. They have the means to get their athletes from country to country to country to compete. Okay, you can agree or disagree with anything I've said in this video. Either way, let me know in the comments section. This is Michael Diamond. I'd like to thank you for watching Muscle Central.